I am here with Andy Mead from Mead New Homes, which is a brand new business which is specifically designed for developers and to try and make the whole new homes experience much more modern, more exciting, more bespoke, and just better really all around. But how are you, Andy?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited. Nervous, as you would be starting up your own business. But no, I think excited. The people I've spoken to already have been really, really receptive to what we plan to be doing, how we're going to be marketing the sites for them. So it's as positive as I thought it would be, but a little bit better.
That's good. That's a nice confidence to start things off with, because I guess you're going in with something that's unique. There's not really anything else out there like that. You're not really tagged into like a classic high street traditional estate agent to kind of bounce off of. You're coming in with a completely different perspective on things, which I guess for the developer is nice because you know you're their sole focus.
Yeah, I mean, I think the good thing about me is it's me. It is me, and it's nobody else. I was an estate agent for 20 years with one of the biggest the biggest estate agent in the area. I then went to work for a number of developers around about London and the home counties. So I've done both. I've done the estate agency side and I've done the developer side. So from a marketing point of view, I understand the building site. I understand the build process. So if you as a builder come to Mead New Homes and say, Andy, we'd like you to discuss marketing the site, before I even got there, I know the process of what the site is, what's going on with the build, how long the build's going to take, what advice I can give you in terms of when you should be marketing, when you should be launching. So it's a lot of it is my own experience, and as the owner of the business, it's me that they'll be dealing with. So it's I think that's a positive in terms of, because when I was in with the developers, you'd appoint an agent to help you out on a site, and then 3 days later there'd be somebody else turn up who's not known the site, and then a week later you'd be having a meeting with somebody you've not had a meeting with before who doesn't know the site, and then the week later you'd be having a meeting with somebody else at the same end, and it's just different people all the time, rather than the continuity that I think as a sales director and an MD of a division, they would want the continuity, so the advice and the reports they're getting is actual genuine reports from what's happened previously and what we're going to be doing in the next week, next 2 weeks. Yeah,
I think it's what I found with our business, because ours is different, and it's hard in a nutshell to explain to someone what it is you're actually doing. To do it in a post or to do it in a sentence is very difficult, because your business model is so unique to anything that's out there that it is quite tough to say, this is what we are. For example, people will say to me, oh, so are you online or are you high street? And it's kind of like, well, no, we're neither. We're completely different. But for you, it's probably quite similar in your marketing to explain exactly what it is you're doing. But what you've just said there in a nutshell is it is you. It's you directly with the person that is the developer or the sales director, I guess. They're the people that you're really talking to.
Yeah, I think it's, there's a chain, isn't there? So you'll have the sales manager, the sales director, and potentially, the MD of the division or the MD of the company. I've worked in with 5-star developers in London. I've worked with a 2-star developer in the home counties and built them up, or helped build them up. So I'm not going to take the credit for all building them up. I helped build them up to a 5-star developer. So I can talk to whoever needs the information. And it's all about my brand, but my brand is me. It's not some glossy sign above the door. It's not, I've got 15 people working for me. I've got a database of 700 people. Of that database of 700 people, how many are actually still looking? How many are still keen to find a development, a house, or what have you? Or are they just people that are perennially browsing?
Yeah, so a database is nice for business gen. It's nice for business gen. But when you're working with a vendor or a developer, or when you're trying to look at buyers or tenants in agency, really a database means nothing, because the places that they're looking are not necessarily within that database. They're looking on portals, they're looking on social media, they're looking at video, they're looking to be pulled out in different ways, not really from emails or calls from numbers they don't really answer. So What is it exactly you're going to do then for the developer? So, you know, let's say someone's got a 10 unit site. What's kind of the difference between your business and an estate agent or selling direct on site?
I think the difference with me is I'm not in it just for the sale. I'm in it for brand awareness for the developer, for the company. So it's a case of getting their brand around as well. So, but what I will do differently is I will actually go out and find the buyer rather than hoping the buyer comes and finds me through the standard portals, the Rightmoves, the Zooplas and what have you. I think we've alluded to this before in conversations that me and you have both had, is that it is like looking for a needle in a haystack. If you're a buyer for a house, you don't particularly really know what you're looking for, or you might have a little idea, but then you've then got to go out and find it. And you might find it on, a still picture on Rightmove. You might walk into an estate agent's office, although, at present times, I don't think that's going to be happening. So you're relying very much on what's happening socially. Now, if I, as Andy Mead, could take your development into the buyer's home by digitally profiling the buyer, by digitally finding the buyer through the methods that we've got, we are then building a market for your development.
Yeah, which I think people and estate agents are very good. If we look at the funnel of how marketing or data works, from a funnel of awareness to kind of engagement to intent to purchase, where estate agents really just home in on is this sort of fourth tier funnel. They're just on the purchase. But what you're talking about there is getting the funnel up here and bringing people in from the top in a layer to where they're more confidently likely to purchase. So it's a bigger game. It's a longer game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but what you're doing with the I'll use the funnel analogy. The funnel at the top is massive. There's a big pool of people that through our digital marketing, we can get them aware of your development, get them aware of your brand.
Mm-hmm.
We then work it down. So the next step of the funnel is the people that have clicked on that, because not everybody that we send it out to is going to be interested in your development. I'm not going to say, if you give me a site in Wokingham, I can quite easily send it out to 100,000 people. Now, of those 100,000 people, yes, the brand awareness is going, but are they looking for a house? No, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Are 10,000 looking? No, they're not. Are 100 people looking? Possibly. So of those 100 people, we're going to sweep those up through the funnel marketing that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But all the time we're doing that, I'm going to go back to brand awareness. And, how many times have you driven through a town that you didn't know a developer was there? And there's some of the big guys as well, not just the smaller guys, some of the big guys. You didn't know they were marketing in a town where you were living a mile away, 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Now, if you're lucky enough and you drive past and they've got 500,000 flags outside, you might see it.
It's funny you mentioned the flags, because I was just thinking that. I worked, when I was on a high street agent, I worked with a big PLC development. We launched a big site, and I remember talking to the sales director, and we were trying to talk about kind of what we could do with the marketing aspect of things. And we were just trying to get a budget, not a big budget, but he said, no, we can't spend any money on that. But don't worry, I've got 4 giant flags going up in the next 3 weeks. Giant. And it was like every corner of the development had one of these massive flags. And I just remember thinking to myself, where are we in this marketplace? And if I go back to like development, what used to baffle me when I started agency is you'd get to launch as a negotiator or as an estate agent, not dealing with the new homes, the office that would then get it at launch. And it was right, next weekend's launch, 30% are already reserved prior to launch. But that doesn't happen anymore. And now it seems developers now want to wait till there's some touchy-feely. Do you think that's because they don't trust the marketing from the agent leading up to launch? Or do you think that's because they haven't grasped how much pre-launch activity you can do with marketing? Why do you think it is that now developers aren't prepared to sell off plan like they were before, or get 25-30% reserved on plans? Why is it now launch day is the first reservation day?
I think you're right. I think there's the trust element in terms of what an estate agent, a standard estate agent can do for you, will do. And I think there's I wouldn't say the fear element, but the element of doing something that it's when you learn about business, you always talk about your comfort zone in your box, and it's stepping outside of that. And it's developers aren't too keen to step outside of what the norm is. But that's what's going to have to happen over the next 2 years, 3 years, because if you don't, the development down the road will be doing that. The development around the corner will be doing that, and you'll be getting left behind. So it's a case now of what if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got.
Yeah.
And if you want to start launching a site, and I've worked with some companies where we've literally been given 7 days to market that we're launching at the weekend, which is, to me, has always been absolutely bonkers.
No,
because you're not, what you're doing then, you're panic selling. You're panicking in terms of getting to the database that you've got. You're not relying on quality leads. You're relying on people that are your perennial, let's go and have a look at the new home. But you don't need that. What you need to be doing is, if you're starting to build a site, a standard house takes roughly 6 months to build. If you're a standard builder, a standard property will take about 6 months to sell. So you know pretty much from the day that you first put a spade in the ground, what day you're going to be looking at those houses are going to be ready. Why wait that 6 months? Why not wait 3 months beforehand? And then that 3 months prior to the launch date, you're then doing your funnel marketing. You're sending it out. You're sending the brand awareness out. You're letting people know what's being built in their town. You're taking it out of the town. You're expanding it a little bit further. So you're looking at people that are then still going to be keen to buy a house.
Yeah.
But they're not being told on the Tuesday that we're launching on the Saturday. Now, Saturday is Auntie Mabel's 80th birthday, so I can't go on the Saturday. So I have to go the next day or next weekend. So what you're doing is that you're giving people enough time to work out when the site's going to be ready. And therefore, before then, if you can go to launch date and you've already got 25% of the site sold, so your site plan has got stickers all around it with reserved plots on it, you've got exchanges which are in the bank, you know where your finances are coming from for the next phase. It's just a no-brainer to me, and it's just, and I think that's where we need to be getting it across to the developers, and whether they're selling 10 units or 100 units or 1,500 units a year, there is always the opportunity to sell before the houses are built.
And I think I've seen over the years as well that people often, they spot it. So they might live locally and they spot the site going up, but they're not ready at that point themselves. So if you take that 6 months from spade to completed, they're not quite ready. But for me, the best quality buyers are always a 3 mile radius resident of wherever that is, whether it's a second-hand property or a new build. They're your best quality buyers because they know the areas, there's no surprise, they know what they're after. Now, a lot of those people for new build developments might need to sell their own property, or they might be rented. So if there's 6 months from that period to that period for you to work on that brand awareness, that engagement, questions, a bit of teasing with the marketing as well, and kind of build that traction of excitement, then the developer's got more time and more control on the process too. And when it gets to launch day, you've already got some momentum. And I think that's the key thing with your marketing process. It's going to be exciting to see the momentum you can generate that actually steers the site launch onto much bigger and better things. And you'll be in control of that from start to finish without it being passed from pillar to post as well. So it's going to be super exciting to see how it unfolds, because it will be the new world for developers, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was involved in a site 15 years ago. And yes, the market was completely different then. It was a different world we were in. But this was a site that had 1,500 units on it. Yeah, 1,500 units on it. And I sat down with, and I was working for an estate agent at the time, and I sat down with the sales director and I said, look, this is how we should be marketing. We should be launching this weekend, but taking no reservations. So the people that are coming in this weekend are the ones that can look at what we've got available, look where we are. And then when we do the full launch in 2 weeks' time, you've got buyers that they know what they want. They've been pre-qualified by a mortgage advisor, and then we know they're in a position to move somewhere. So on the day of the launch, you've got a channel here where you've got the pre-qualified people that have come up 2 weeks before the launch date, and you've got the people here that are coming on the launch date. These people have got straight access into the marketing suite, therefore they can reserve. These people have seen what's going on over here, and they want to reserve because they want a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
And it's all about building a momentum. And
Yeah, a
it's,
buzz. Yeah.
yeah, and it's not, don't get me wrong, I'm not doing this because I've come up with a super eureka moment and I'll say, "Oh, Andy Mead's going to change the world." I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is change the way that you market sites and change the way that potentially you look at as a developer as how your sites are going to be marketed and the benefits of doing that, not just for the sales, but for brand awareness.
Mm-hmm. It's an evolution of the process. It's not a reinvention of it.
No,
It's
definitely
an
not.
evolution
No.
of it. And for a developer, to have that level of experience as an individual point of contact is great. But actually, you own the business, so the care and attention that they're going to get is from an owner. It's a bit like going into a restaurant, and the difference between the front of house owner compared to the waiter or the waitress that's just doing it as a part-time job or just doing it as a kind of run-of-the-mill job. There's a different level of service there, and you're going to be that person that cares about what's going on for your own brand and your own reputation, but theirs as well, because it's clients for life for you as a business owner, rather than just a tick in the box on that development. So
Definitely. I'm not interested in working with one developer on one site. That's not what I'm in it for. I'm in it for the long term. So I want to work with one developer on one site, and that site finishes, we hand over the keys on the last plot, and they're already thinking, actually, Andy Mead does a great job on that site. We're going to use him on this site because then the model worked.
Mm.
So it's not, I'm not in it for the short term. As I say, I'm not in it just to make a quick buck. I'm here for a long time. And it's, I think there's an opportunity for developers to change how they market the properties. And there's an opportunity for buyers to actually see there's new homes being built in their area. I'll tell you a quick stat that I learned about 3 or 4 weeks ago. 10 years ago, 75% of buyers never even considered a new home. So 10% of buyers in 75% of buyers in 2010 bought a house without even considering purchasing a new home, because reputation of new homes, build quality, blah, 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 not enough space, not enough outside space. What people don't realise now is that all that's changed. Houses are now, they're more energy efficient. There's more outside space. Developments are built with more communal areas. There's more outside space for people to use on the development. Do the buyers know that? Recent research would say no. 2006, 10% of people, only 10% of people bought new homes. 2017, 11%. 2018, 11.6%, and 2019, 10.5%. So there's still a massive amount of people that are buying houses in the UK that are not considering a new build for whatever reason. Mm. And I get there's more second-hand properties on the market. I get all that. But you can't tell me that there's only 10% of people buying new homes in the UK of house sales that have happened.
It's crazy. And when there's the opportunity of Help to Buy up to 600, obviously not for long, there's kind of a time limit on that, but no one seems to be really talking about the driving force of that for next year. You've got part exchange opportunities as well. So actually buying a new build is actually a much easier process than buying a second-hand property.
Definitely.
From a process point of view.
And I think from a security point of view as well, you're buying a brand new home, nobody's lived in it, it's a complete blank canvas. If you get in there early enough, depending on the developer you're buying from, you can get a choice of flooring, you can get a choice of kitchen, you get a choice of bathroom. It's just a no-brainer to me. And it's just, but I don't think the buyers are aware of that. I don't genuinely believe there's enough people that are aware of what in buying a new home benefits them, both financially and emotionally.
Yeah. We're working with a developer at the moment, and they called us up the other day and they said, we don't quite understand why you're getting so many offers for each viewing. How do we get the viewing levels up compared to the other local agent they were working with? And I think that experience and that ability to have a proper conversation with a buyer like you've just mentioned, for me, the viewing is just so important. It's so flippant in the agency game where it's cheap labour, it's part-time, it's weekend viewers, it's, ad hoc kind of temporary sales staff. Actually, the viewing is just so vital. And when you can have those conversations that you just had about the area, about the standard, about what's bespoke, what's designer, 10-year guarantees, all of those different elements, then that is what heightens the level of demand. And yeah, it's going to be exciting to see, because I think for developers, you know, they're probably, well, I know for a fact they're quite frustrated with the options. They put a lot of time, effort, money, that the product of a new build is so much stronger than what it was 10 years ago. But maybe the marketing for that product is nowhere near up to the standard that the developer have gone out themselves in terms of the spend. But you're going to obviously bring that, which was exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you know, it's not. And as I say, you know, going back to what we discussed earlier, we're not reinventing the wheel. You know, it doesn't need reinventing. You know, there's an awful lot of good estate agents out there. There's an awful lot of people that know what they're doing. But that's old hat. What you need to do now is what you can do moving forward, and what the new, I don't want to say the new world, because we are in the new world. What the new world expects, what the buyer expects from the journey.
Yeah.
You know, if I can say to, if you know, the journey for a buyer pretty much starts from the time that they look at their laptop or their iPad or their iPhone. Now, are they going to be interested in looking at a nice chintzy tap, or are they going to be interested in looking at a nice video which shows the development, whether it's going straight in street level, whether it's going aerial above, which we can do with the drone imagery we're going to be doing. It's a massive, massive game changer. So as I say, going back to the beginning, we're effectively taking your development into the buyer's environment.
Yeah.
So their journey is made as easy as possible. So literally they can look at that on their phone and go, right, yeah, that's the development. Let's zoom out. What's it got on there? It's just, if I was buying a new, I mean, I live in a new house now. I bought 4 years ago, and I stumbled across it. I didn't go and buy it. I just happened to stumble across it. But if that was marketed properly, it wouldn't be on the market when I bought it.
Yeah. So for a developer then, without giving the blueprint away on here, what's the best thing for them to contact you and set up a marketing strategy plan, to set up a Zoom chat like this? What do you think is the best thing for, if there's developers out there that have got spades in grounds now and they're thinking, right, I like what Andy says here, I like the style of his business, I want to get in contact with him, talk about what they can do or what he can do differently. What's the best thing to do?
Have a look at my website. That tells you what I do. Speak to me, by all means, give me a call. We can set up a Zoom call. We can set up a distance meeting at a coffee shop. I can come and see you at your office. I can meet you out on site if you want to meet out on site. You know, I've got all the CSCR skills. I've got all that. I'm site trained. I know how to walk on a building site. I know what's what. So I will come and see you. I suppose that's the easiest way of doing it. If you want to do it over Zoom, let's do it over Zoom. If you want to do it over the traditional methods, let's have a phone call on here. But all I ask is, give me a call. Let's have a chat. If you like what I'm saying, great. Let's move forward. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. I'm not gonna be upset about it. It's just, you know, it is what it is. And I am, people who know me know that I'm passionate about whatever I do, and this is something that I'm really passionate about. And I will be, whoever site I'm marketing, and I don't want to be marketing every site in every town, because I think there's an awful lot of a lack of confidentiality in a few agents where they're marketing too many sites for too many different developers. And I don't think there's the confidentiality there that the developers expect in terms of how their site's going to be marketed as opposed to the one next door. Yeah,
that's a fair comment. No, it's good. Well, yeah, get in contact with Andy. Obviously, all the links and the website and contact details we'll put within this video as well. And it's good to chat, and I can feel the passion coming off the screen. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how it unfolds. Best of luck with it. And, yeah, thanks for taking the time to have a chat.
No worries. I'll catch up with you soon.
Take care.
Cheers, mate.